Welcome back to another episode of Too Much Podtar. As we have the second episode of today, as you know, we had the 100th episode. Not yesterday, earlier today, a couple hours ago. So now we have DFS again. Just a shorter slate. I believe the main slate's only 5 games. And only like 7 games total, I think, for the whole day. So definitely going to be rolling through this quick, given some of our favorite picks. Me and Joey Ricotta again, as always. We've been doing this for a few days in a row now. So yeah, we'll be doing pitchers, hitters, stacks, some of the guys we like. So yeah, let's go jump into it. Pitchers. Joey, you want to go first for that?
For pitchers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put most of the research into pitching so far at this point. And just so I dive into hitters more after I do that, but yeah, for pitching, I like starting at the top. You probably could have predicted this, but I don't think it's a homer pick because I think Darvish is definitely going to be owned by. I'm not going to be the only person here, and but I think it's well deserving going against the Brewers tomorrow at Wrigley. The Brewers strike out at the third highest rate in all of baseball and second highest versus right-handed pitching. And they've also gotten off to kind of a sluggish start this season. I don't know. Are we even sure that they are as good as some people thought going into the season? I mean, of course Yelich is, but the rest of the lineup I don't know about. Some of these other guys, they are good too, but the lineup as a whole, I don't know. They're throwing out some guys there that really probably shouldn't be in the everyday lineup. But Darvish has picked up where he left off last season, walking very few batters. He's got a 3.1% walk rate and really limiting hard contact with a 26.1 hard hit percentage. He's 2-1 with a 2.12 ERA, and I expect him to bring it again tonight against the Brewers. So yeah, he's my top spend up for sure. Looking down a little bit lower, I don't really want to go too much lower or too low today, but you could go on the other side of that with Corbin Burns against the Cubs. The problem is he's not actually starting. Looks like Brett Anderson's going to get the start, and then he's going to be the probable long reliever, but that could be a potential low-owned GPP play, although I don't love it. I think the Cubs could put up some runs against Anderson. Depends how long they let him go, and still Burns, I don't see him really paying off. It's just a dart throw at that point, but in the mid-range, at least on DraftKings, for prices, Anthony DeSclafani, Tony Disco, or Disco Tony, at 8,200. I like him, and I like Jake Arrieta at 7,300. Disco is going to be going up against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has the lowest WOBA and WRC plus versus righties this season at only 233 and 46 respectively. They also K more versus righties than lefties, 23.9% compared to only 18.1% versus lefties. Disco has yet to give up an earned run, and he's only walked one batter in 11 innings this year. So at 8,200, I think you could do worse. And the Reds are negative 180 favorites from Vegas so far, so that's always good. Arrieta versus Baltimore, the weather, I don't know, there's supposed to be rain, like 37% chance or something I saw, so we'll see. But negative 190 favorites from Vegas. He looked good his last time out. Has been keeping the ball on the ground, relying mostly on a sinker. Baltimore has a fairly high soft contact rate versus right-handed pitchers. I think he can neutralize them and pick up the win. So 7,300 on DK. It's not a bad play. So those are that's kind of where I'm looking as far as pitchers go tomorrow or today. Excuse me.
I I like those same ones you mentioned. I like all of them. Another note on Descalfani. He struck out combined Polanco, Bell, Frazier, Moran, and Newman 14 times in his career against them. That's another thing, as you said, with the strike, he can rack up the strikeouts, and I think he will against them. They're in the bottom, towards the bottom of the league in all offensive categories so far. And only 3-13 on the year, so definitely the way he's been pitching, especially with only one walk, each strikeouts, he's going to put up numbers. So, and then as you said with Arrieta, I really like the matchup against the Orioles for him. He had 27.1 points in DraftKings his last start with 6 Ks, 1 walk, no runs, just 3 hits in 6 innings. So definitely build off that start. And I think he'll get the run support with the Phillies facing off against a Shellman of the Orioles.
So. I love the way you said it. A Shellman. He's going to get shelled.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. Yeah. A Shellman. He's a Sheldman.
Yeah, he's a shelled man. That's going to get exposed and taken out of his shell. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, my favorites are Arrieta and Descalfani, but I would definitely also spend up for Darvish. That matchup against the Brewers is solid for him, and I was kind of, as you mentioned with the Brewers offense, I was kind of even more towards not even buying into them going into the year, just because the guys that they've lost in their offense, of course, Moustakas, the main one. So I know obviously they still have Yelich, like you said, but they just don't really have much there.
Yeah, Grandal too.
Yeah, Grandal they lost, so yeah, just nothing really there. So I didn't buy into them at all going in.
I'm with you on that.
So yeah, that's a solid matchup for Darvish. But, some of the other pitchers, you got Chris Paddock, but he's facing the Dodgers, so I wouldn't really bank on him doing too well. I think the Dodgers offense is just too good. They might rough him up a little bit. And also Glasnow, who's been struggling to start against the Red Sox lineup, who has been struggling, but they can also always end up putting up some numbers, end up breaking out against a struggling pitcher. And then the same thing with Julio Urias against the Padres lineup, who's been really, really good so far, especially Tatis. So I don't know, a lot of the guys I wouldn't really want to bank on, just because of the question marks that you have.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. Glasnow is. I don't know. We'll talk more about him in a second, but I don't know what. I don't want to trust it yet. I believe in Glasnow.
Yeah.
As a pitcher, I think he's terrific, but I don't want to use him yet.
Yeah, and Well, you can always, like we said, the same thing a couple of days ago with James Paxton, and then all of a sudden he had a good start. So
Right. Maybe us saying these kind of things on this pod, it just breaks guys out of their, it just they'd flip the switch. They're like, okay, now it's time to go off. They said we're not going to do anything today, and then boom, dropping the hammer, striking out 10, giving up no runs, or whatever.
yeah, just like Margot the other day, going 4 for 4 after I wrote him in as the hitting dud.
Yeah, he heard you. He said he read the article like Jordan did when he was in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Read all the articles and it's like, we're gonna take care of you tonight. We're gonna take care of you. We're gonna take care, or we already took care of you. Beating them in the series of predictions. That was cool.
That was awesome. Just rolling into some hitters. The one guy I like is Castellanos, who facing against what the hell was his name? Trevor Williams, which you talked about before, which he could end up being solid against the Reds lineup, but he also may blow up with. And then Castellanos is one guy who's been good against him, 4 for 11 with 3 doubles in his career, and also against right-handers. 19 of his 27 home runs last year were against right-handers. 803 OPS, and then also he has 6 home runs against right-handers this year, 10 RBIs. So he hits right-handers well, and I think he'll be able to do that again today. And I'm gonna predict another home run for him. I'm gonna have him as my home run pick. That gets 7 home runs against right-handers this year.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, and then another one, which is kind of a stack too, actually, but one of my favorite for this lineup is the Rays. For the Rays is Brandon Lau against what's the hell is his name? Kyle Hart. He's making his major league debut. So just like yesterday, stack the Rays, and you could start that with Brandon Lau, who's been the best hitter on the Rays so far. And all 3 of his home runs are against left-handers. So, and Hart is a left-hander, of course, and so I think he has a chance to get a 4th, maybe, but he'll definitely put up some big numbers. The whole entire Rays lineup is probably going to be huge. I think they're definitely rough up the youngster. And Lau's coming off a 3 for 5, 2 RBI, 3-run night last night. So I think he'll be able to build off that, keep it rolling. So those are my 2 main guys that I like for this slate.
Yeah, I like it. Castellanos, he's been one of the hottest hitters in the league to start this year, and really when he got traded to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Since the halfway point or past the halfway point last year. So love that. Love both of those picks right there. The guys I'm gonna go with, Yandy Diaz. You mentioned the Rays going against Hart, who hasn't pitched in the majors. He's just too cheap.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't really swung it the greatest yet this year, but he's hitting 258, but he still doesn't have a home run. And yesterday, which I know you're aware of because we did the pod together and I tweeted it out that I think I called this one with not Brandon Lowe. Wow, but Austin Meadows breaking out, getting off the schneid with his first homer of the year, and he did. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and plug in Yandy Diaz. It's a cheap bat in a nice spot here. One of the guys that had one of the hardest hard hit percentages. I mean, his entire stat cast was red last season, all over the place. Striking out quite a bit, and those numbers don't look as good right now, but I think it's only a matter of time, and I think he gets his first homer of the year today, and so we'll try to go 2 for 2 with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3,100 on DK, he's just too cheap, and on FanDuel, he's 2.6K, which is still pretty damn cheap. So I like that. And the Rays 5.28 implied run total. So he should, at the very least, give you some points somehow. The other guy I like, and I'm going to go ahead and just double down on the home run picks today.
Mm.
So, I mean, one of these I'm thinking has to hit because this guy's too good. And I mean, I know he's come back from injury from last year, but he's in a great spot as long as that game, there's no real rain troubles there. Going up against Eshelman, like we talked about. Andrew McCutchen. I think he could get his first homer of the year today as well. I mean, Tom Eshelman last year had a home run per 9 rate of 3 and an xFIP near 6. Only a 13.4% career K percentage.
Jesus.
With a career 41.4% hard hit percentage. Righties hit 359 with 8 bombs and a 427 WOBA against him last season. Those are the numbers for that last season. So, you know, a lot of people see a right-handed pitcher. They want to use a lefty. I think McCutchen could be the nice righty in that lineup that might do some damage today. So those are my 2 bats that I like. I like McCutchen and I like Yandy Diaz. And they're both pretty. I mean, as far as the Phillies go, McCutchen's not cheap, but he's a cheaper Philly bat because they kind of priced him up a little bit now.
Yeah. I like that pick though. I've been looking for him to break out a little bit because he's still coming off from the ACL, so he's kind of obviously going to be kind of a slow start with that, but I think he can definitely break out today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping for it because I'm definitely gonna have some McCutchen in my lineup. So I'm not playing many because with this small of a slate with only 5 games, and I don't want to get exposure all the way around.
All right.
But he'll be in there for sure.
Yeah. I didn't mention too that the slate it's for 405. So that's the first game of the Orioles and the Phillies.
Oh yeah, definitely got to mention that. Yeah, because it's an odd time for the main slate.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. That's usually when they have like kind of weird slates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then you got Rays, Red Sox 4:30, and then Pirates, Reds at 5:10, Brewers and Cubs at 7:15, and Padres and Dodgers at 9:40. So, but definitely you gotta get them. If you make any lineups, you gotta get them in before 4 o'clock. Well, you can still adjust them before the other games if you're gonna put somebody up for the other 4 games. You're gonna put them from there, but.
Yeah, you could always what you could do if you're gonna run some stacks of like the later games, like the Cubs, Brewers, the Padres, Dodgers, games like that, and the lineups aren't out yet, and you're afraid that you're not gonna be able to swap and stuff like that. You could reserve some contests, and you can also put some dummy lineups together with those players. Players from those teams, and then you could swap out those players once the lineups have already locked. You can edit those games because they haven't started yet. So that would be my advice if you want to get some exposure to those 2 games, or you have a particular team that you really want to stack because you like the matchup or whatever the reason is, ownership, whatever. You can put some dummy lineups together and then just edit from there once the lineup's released.
All right. That's what I'm always worried about, like making a lineup like before I go to work or something, and then not be able to check it, and then somebody isn't in the lineup. Like,
oh, that's the worst. Yeah, if you can't get back to it, yeah, it's the worst. Yeah, make sure if you're gonna do that today, make sure you'll have an opportunity to go back and edit, and you don't get locked with complete garbage, and you won't have a chance to because you definitely don't want to do that, and don't put a dummy lineup together with guys that are playing early on accident, unless you want them to be a part of the stack that you think you can work around, which obviously that's a very viable strategy, but not somebody who you could potentially want at that position from one of the later games, because you won't be able to swap that around. You'll just be locked with this guy, and he might be 0 for 4 with that game completely done and the other game about to start, and you might have the best stack ready to go, so.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of stacks, though, well, I mentioned the Rays, of course, doing that again, but I might actually go the other way as well with the Red Sox. Like we talked about this before the pod, but we mentioned with Glass now, he's been off to a rough start, and Red Sox lineup is obviously they don't have Mookie Betts, but they still have other guys in there that can do damage. Alex Verdugo is still not fully broken out, so I think he can potentially hit his first home run. And I think they're kind of on a lineup that's bound to break out at some point. And why not against Glass now? The pitcher struggling, and someone against a division rival in the Rays in the last game of that series. So maybe they'll have a little extra motivation to do damage. Xander Bogaerts, Jackie Bradley Jr., guys like that.
Yeah, I like that call a lot. Like that's what we were talking about earlier. It'll be a contrarian stack, I think, because people see Glass now and they're like, no, I'm not attacking Glass now. I'm not putting any hitter against Glass now. Which, yeah, that still holds true, I think, and especially if he was really in form, and not just trying to get his bearings about him. But right now, I don't think he's quite there yet, and He has a 50% hard hit percentage against them and 15.7% walk rate. Not really great.
No.
And, he's not throwing a ton of pitches yet. So I do like the Red Sox a lot as a lower owned stack.
Yeah, and Glasnow only went 2 2/3 innings his last start, and if he doesn't go that long, if they hit off him, they can also hit off their bullpen because they have a better bullpen than the Red Sox do, but they can definitely do damage still.
Yeah, definitely. And Glasnow's yet to make it through 5 innings this year, and he's given up a homer in each of his first 3 starts. So, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but
Yeah.
it very well could. He could strike out guys, but he can also give up some damage today.
Yeah. But yeah, I mentioned Verdugo. I'm gonna officially make it another home run pick for me. Having him break out for his first homer.
Sweet. Trying to join the home run club here.
Yeah. Why not?
I feel like some of your other picks though, you've gotten some homers out of those picks. So
Yeah.
even if you didn't say they were a home run call, it's still
Well, yeah.
it still counts.
Yeah. But I was on with the Blake Snell pick. That was a good one yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. Prove me wrong because I didn't trust him to. How many pitches did he get up to?
I didn't even look. I don't remember. I didn't see. I just saw he had a good outing, but let me check.
Yeah, I remember that was one of the main concerns I had with him though. I didn't know how many pitches he was gonna get to.
I think he went through. Did he go through 6? I don't know. I think he was through 6.
Was he okay?
Let me see.
Looking now too.
No, it's actually 5. He did.
5.
He went through 5 with. Let's see the pitch count. What the fuck is it? Where the hell does it say pitch count on?
You got to go down. Oh, he only okay. So the info I got was right though,
Oh,
because
yeah.
earlier today, I saw that he had a max of 70 pitches or 5 innings, whatever came first, and he had 70 pitches and 5 innings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
That is pretty crazy. That's the exact info that I got on him today. Yesterday. Excuse me. We're pre-recording this.
Yeah. Just so everybody's clear.
Yeah, we're doing it the night before.
Well, it's morning now though. But,
well, yeah.
But yeah. But
technically,
yeah. Also, yeah, he had
been to bed yet. But
yeah, he had 6 strikeouts, no runs, 4 hits. So, let's
good
see.
call.
Yeah, his DraftKings points were 24.85. So that's pretty damn good.
How many? Sorry.
24.85.
Yeah, definitely. Got the win, got the Ks, 6 Ks through 5, I believe.
Yeah, and I was able to double my money. I had $3 entry and made $6. So
nice.
yeah.
You'll take that. How did I do? I didn't even check the final. Okay, so I made $23. I doubled up in cash games, and then hit on some tournament. Not hit like took a tournament down, but cashed in some tournaments.
Yeah.
Which I'll take. Thought it could have been a little bit better. Didn't quite have the right combos, but
I did. I also did 2 head-to-heads, and I won both of them. So
Nice. Yeah, just slowly build that bankroll, and then you can spread it around a little bit in some tournaments.
yeah.
Did you have any other stacks that you liked today?
I like the Phillies against the Orioles. I mentioned them before, but I like McCutchen, like you said, your home run call. I like that, and Harper. I think he'll have a day. I we talked about Rhys Hoskins. I think he'll end up actually breaking out and having some kind of day. He's been struggling to start off, so I think he can do something finally.
Yeah, with Eshelman struggling against righties, I could see that too. But he's kind of a boomer bust guy, but he hits the ball very far when he gets a hold of it.
Yeah. A shellman. A shelled.
A shelled man.
Let's see. Yeah. And then, of course, Didi. I have to mention him. I think he's another bat in there that you can have in having a stack.
Yeah, definitely. I like these Phillies today. It'll probably be popular again. Um, but
Yeah.
the Phillies, the Rays, again probably be popular, but I like them. And let's see here. I had a couple others jotted down. I like in the contrarian stack we mentioned Boston a little already. But I like the Cubs going up against Brett Anderson. He's the probable opener. And then Corbin Burns is the probable long reliever. I don't really want to pick on Corbin Burns, but who's to say that the Cubs don't do some serious damage in the first couple innings against Anderson? And if that's the case, I really like the Cubs. Righties had a 43.9% hard contact rate against Anderson, and against him last year that was last year, and then 17 of his 20 homers allowed came from righties as well, and they hit 280 against him. So if it's loaded with righties up top, KB, Javi, Wilson, Contreras, if you throw in Bodie as a cheap option in one of these stacks, if he's in the lineup, he hit the ball hard twice last night, and he was only 1 for 4, but he had a couple RBIs. Seems to be seeing it pretty well now. And Rizzo, we know he can hit lefties or righties. So I like the Cubs stack. Rizzo and Bryant homered last night. Hayward had a good night. He probably won't be in there against a lefty, but you never know. So I kind of have some interest here in the Cubs. And, I mean, they're the best team in baseball. I can't believe I get to say that. They are the best team in baseball right now from a record and winning percentage standpoint. So feels good to say that. And it if that stack hits, it'll feel good today too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see the Cubs Dodgers in the NLCS maybe.
Yeah, I think that's been what I've been kind of predicting here after the first week or so of baseball. I think the NLCS still runs through the Dodgers, and the Cubs. I think it's going to be a rematch I mean, they played twice in the NLCS already. Was it twice? No, 17 they did. 2016, of course. Yeah. They played 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this would be the tiebreaker then.
Yeah, this would be the tiebreaker because the Cubs fell to them in 17. But yeah, I mean the Cubs obviously, you know what happened in 16.
Yeah.
But I know we're not making predictions right now, but I think the Cubs have a good shot to get to the NLCS. I'll say that.
We went a little bit longer than we wanted to, but we always do that.
We always do. Never fails.
But go make some money, make some hard-earned cash on DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever you use.
Yahoo, anything, fantasy draft.
And yeah, just keep listening to these episodes. Gonna keep them up, keep them coming. DFS every day. Gotta keep doing it. And of course, as always, the articles are on the Squirrel / Prime Time. We have a different person doing it every day. Well, sometimes maybe I might do. Sometimes I do twice a week, depending on who's able to do it. Johnny sometimes does 2 a week, I think. So, but usually it's a different person every day, which is kind of nice to see somebody else's point of view of what they have in mind for lineups.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think shortly though, we should do like just a regular episode. We were doing these DFS ones, but maybe do one like about just the whole season in general, about what's going on. Hottest teams or whatever, best teams so far.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. But yeah, we should wrap this up here. It's it's after 2:00 for me. So I want to get to bed here and then wake up and do some lineups before the early slate, since it starts at 4. So yeah, we'll be back again with another episode tomorrow for the slate of games the Friday slate. So it should be a good one there as well. And just a reminder, you can never have too much pod tar.